Oh, take it, Vince. I'm sorry.
Well, good after evening, noon, y'all. How are you? Is
Good.
that good?
See, I
Good
every
evening.
time, every time, Vince, I mess that up, and I don't know. I feel like I need to go stand in front of a mirror for like hours and just keep practicing that line.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ham Radio Kids Table. We'll rent you the seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I like that.
there you go.
I like that. There we go. Well, hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. We're unlike the some of those other evening ham tube programs. We're not going to make our guests wait for 20, 30 minutes to get in here. So we are right up and in your face tonight with Robbie, Whiskey One. Was it Robbie Camp POTA? Where
That's
did
one.
that
That's
come
that's
from?
one of them. That's one of them. That is
Where did this? Is there more than one?
there is, but I don't know. The other one is I can poo. Robbie can poo, but that's a Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November special. He
Oh, well, there you
completely
go.
Oh
he
my.
completely misunderstood what I said on the radio.
Yeah.
And I said Robbie can POTA because I was talking like, hey, I can POTA today. But he took it as Robbie can't POTA. So now I've got a whole channel in his Discord that's basically reasons that I can't POTA. And
Hmm.
we started working on the list. I think quite a few people have lent to it. I think we have about 300 excuses now.
Well, there you go. So
That's
you
hilarious.
can't POTA. You can't POTA, but what can you do? And that that was
And
one of the questions.
anything.
I think I've, I've been aware of you for about a year and a half now, following you on Twix and everything. I don't think you and I have ever actually met in person. We've
We
crossed
missed
paths at
pads.
I, I even stopped at your campsite at Huntsville, and you were tied up busy doing something, and then I never got a chance to see you again in in person. I know
Yeah.
we were like two ships in the night in
Orlando.
down in Orlando, and but here we are. We're getting an opportunity to finally talk in
Yeah,
person.
absolutely.
So pretty cool, pretty cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Robbie. What brought you into amateur radio?
Oh, that's a long story right there.
Okay.
I'm actually wearing my Wednesday work shirt. It's wear your college colors, and so uh, I went to Southern Regional Technical College, was Moultrie Technical College back then, and I started doing an electronics class, and it was based on my wife getting me I think it was a 2007 issue of Make magazine. The year has slipped my mind, but it was the first issue of Make magazine, and it had been out for a while. But she found it on a bookshelf at a bookstore in Valdosta, Georgia, and she said, "I'm going to get this for him for Christmas." She wouldn't let me buy it; it was expensive. It was like
Okay.
$15. Um, and so I started doing little projects. In fact, I made sure to oh boy, I've done it now. I bet I just broke my camera. Um,
Uh-oh.
so hopefully the camera will come back in just a minute. Uh, you can hear me though still, right?
Your audio
Yep.
is good.
All
Yep.
right, good. So I had gone to the dark side of electronics hobby stuff, and I'm fiddling trying to fix the camera too, and it is not happy with me. But I started doing some electronic stuff, and through the class there at the technical college, I started messing around with an old CB radio, and then I said, this is kind of garbagey. I really don't want to be. I'm not hating on CB radio. If you could see my face, you would know that I'm not hating on it. But
Mhm.
I started Googling RF, and man, this is garbage. Uh, let me just switch to the built-in webcam on my laptop. All right, let's see if this
There we go.
works better. Yeah, there
Just
we go.
5
We
nano,
we
man.
we got you.
Excellent. The slow scans coming through. So I'm trying to keep the story short, and oh, here's the first project from magazine, volume 1. It was called Stripe Snoop. And I'm going to tell you that on the forefront, this cost $1 gazillion because I had to have all the tools.
Mm,
And so I went shopping on DigiKey and found some stuff. And this sparked something that I never would have imagined, a mess that ended up in amateur radio. So I started Googling, what other things are out there other than CB radio. And there was I think FRS, little cheap walkie-talkies from Walmart and stuff
right.
like that. And then I came across the Colquitt County Ham Radio Society. It was the craziest thing that it just happened to know my location, I guess, and popped it up. So I started digging into what is this? And the next thing you know, I'm on a website studying for the technician exam and found some people here in town that would test me. And I believe that was back in 2011. No, is that right? I think it's 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, the math is mathin', 2011.
The math is mathing. All right. So
Yeah,
you've actually been licensed a couple more years than I have. So
just over a decade.
just over a decade. Well, good deal. And so I see that you do voice. You do also CW too. Is that correct?
Oh, if it could be done, I've probably tried it. Yes.
Okay.
I started back on the technician voice on 10 meters, and I was doing some PSK 31 back then, back in 2011. FT8 I don't think had debuted yet.
Mhm.
I think they were in the development stages of it, but I was doing PSK, FM, 2 meter FM, 70 centimeters and stuff like that. Actually caught the HF bug from a tropospheric ducting on 2 meters,
Okay.
14652, and here in Texas, come across the waters there of the southern U.S. And I was like, is this what HF is like? Because if it is, and actually talking to people, keying up repeaters that didn't have PL tones in them for 200-300 miles, and actually holding a conversation with somebody else, that's when I was like, I need general, and I need it now.
There you go. I had a very similar situation with our local repeater in Indianapolis, and it's a wide area network, and it has a PL tone now, but back then it didn't. And during certain times of summer, it became a regional repeater. You could be on the far side of Ohio and key this up, or down in Kentucky, or over in Illinois,
Yep.
and so all of a sudden you're talking to people that you wouldn't normally talk to, and it was kind of the same way. It was a cool, fun experience.
Yep. So somebody said, "What's your favorite PL tone?" 141.3. When I got my license back in 2011, I also started building. I was like, "Well, I can do Morse code now," and I knew that even as a technician, I think you could do a little smidge of 80 meters, a little smidge of 40 meters,
Yeah.
and 10 meters too. And so I built what is called a Pixie 2 QRPP transceiver. It was maybe a half watt, 3/4 watts at best. And I always wanted to know Morse code. Even when I got started, I know, by then the requirement for Morse code had been long gone, for I think I think even the extra might have already been opened up by then too. But I said, you know what? I'm going to try this. And yes, Richard, it's Mickey Mouse. So all right. I finally dug my heels in about the time I got to the end of the technician license. I was about to test for general, and I said, I'm going to get out on 10 meters. So I went out, got in the Jeep, sat there with a little plastic K1 key. I think it was an Amico plastic key, like 11.99, sitting in the heat of the Jeep. And I talked to a guy out in, I think he was in New Mexico or Arizona or Texas, um, and actually held a somewhat decent CW conversation out there. And so, yes, I definitely enjoy CW. It gets through when voice sometimes doesn't. Because the other night, I'm glad that Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November knows Morse code, and because I could not get him on voice, I had to switch to the key. And even with the
Yeah.
key, and of course the power is focused on CW, to put it simply. So you're pushing all your power into this little area. And even then he gave me a 1-1.
Oh,
It
You
just what
know,
wasn't happening.
what, James pulling your leg there,
No, he was dead serious. It
dead
literally,
seriously.
my CW held up his pile up for at least a minute, and by then he'd worked 30 people.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah.
he
Yeah.
was nice enough to. He's like, I'm gonna try. He didn't give up on me, and I'm glad.
But that's good. So when you learned CW, did you start out with a straight key or did you go straight to paddles or
I did.
how did that?
I did start on a straight key. I felt like that was the traditional way to start. I was in the straight key century club, so it was natural to start on a straight key.
Mhm.
And I feel like I had more control with a straight key because, if you start squeezing paddles, it's going to do what it's going to do, and it's going to do it right then and there. And so with a straight key, you can, as ugly as a straight key can sound as a beginner, it gives you that feel. And I can't say one way or another whether starting out on a straight key and sending it yourself, or if you're using electronic keyers to do it and then you're hearing it perfect. I don't know which one's better. I don't have a say either way. I say go out there and do what's going to keep you involved with it.
Okay. Reason I remember seeing a video, and I don't know if your key broke or if you forgot your key, but you're out there taking your cable and tapping it up against the ignition of your Jeep
Yeah.
to create a circuit that you're able to at least get out your 10 contacts or what. I think you were there for a POTA activation.
That
With
was
it.
at Reed Bingham State Park. It was a Sunday morning after band practice and before church, and I would always sneak over there because it was only 20 minutes from the church. And at the time, we won't go there. Anyways, I had time between the service. My family just was at home, so there's a story behind that. We'll get that some other way. But yeah, I got out there and couldn't find my key. And come to find out, it had fallen under the seat. I did find it later, but I
Mhm.
said this is going to happen one way or another. So yeah, that's the ability to send with a straight key. Um, I was like, well, all you have to do is ground the tip for a straight key, and so I just had the wire hanging there, send a Morse code. And the title screen on that video says, "We don't need no stinking key."
Well, that's good. That's hamgenuity there at its finest. And that's something that I like about the hobby, right? Not everything in the hobby is going to work perfectly. We talked a little bit before stream where I was talking about one of the things that it seems like so many people now that come into the hobby, it's like they have to have everything right away perfect, and if it's not, then I don't know, it might they may not want to get involved in it or stay in it, or I don't know. It seems to me that we're losing our desire to troubleshoot and to work through problems and do that. And that's where I think is a positive of this hobby, because it gives us that opportunity to do it through failure, primarily.
Absolutely. I don't remember what author wrote it. It was probably in entrepreneurship, and I forget the guy's name. But one of the things that he said was, if you wait until it's perfect, you'll never get started.
ain't
It's good.
that the truth, man? With anything.
Mm.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why sometimes we get these things that just have bugs in it. And
Yeah.
I've made stuff that it worked when it wanted to, and I knew there was what's the word, potential. It had potential, and it's just a
Mhm.
matter of fiddling with it till you figure it out and get it right. So and I had said before stream, one of the mantras that I like to live by is that the only time that we have truly failed is when we give up.
Very true.
I agree. I agree. So,
Jody, that's
Speaking-
hilarious. Tapping out CW bare wire is proof that a misspent youth hot wiring cars has a
I,
side benefit.
I was chuckling
That's
at that.
awesome.
I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Down. Is it Down Periscope? And the radio man who's always connecting wires to make circuits for the audio, and
Grabbing it with
maybe he
his
was a radio
toes.
man. Yes, 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 yes. But yeah, most definitely. Um, so you've been in ham radio for a while now, and you started doing maker stuff. But you teach, is that correct?
I do teach. I have the I don't even know if you want to call it that. It is a great honor to be able to be the engineering teacher at our high school here in Moultrie, Georgia. It's Colquitt County High School, and
Okay.
and I get to pour my passion into teaching kids. And I did a live stream the other day, and it's funny that I had one student who was my student, and one random kid from the hallway that just joined in on the stream just to chat as I was talking about putting together a ham radio go kit in a box. And to be able to have an impact on the future of just the kids in this area, that was a dream of mine. My wife has taught her entire career. I, of course, was in the military, and then I worked in aircraft, and then I was teaching music and doing music retail. And I was like, you know what? I want to make a difference somewhere. I felt like I wasn't making a difference
Right.
somewhere. So a lot of my YouTube presence is just putting it out there. If it helps somebody, great. If it helps one person, it's paid for itself. And that's the legacy I want to leave. Being able to teach at the school is that somebody's going to take this away. I have not, Steve, been to Teachers Institute, but I hope to go soon. Um, so
You've made that connection with Steve Goodgame.
I did. I've got
Okay.
them on speed dial somewhere. Uh,
Okay.
It's going to be a busy summer, though. Busy summer. I don't know if I'll be able to make it this year, but yes, I do teach, and it's an outlet for me because I'm in a maker space. We've got lasers, 3D printers, we have CNC stuff, so the kids get to see as much as I like to tinker, and I'll teach the standards, but I get to form relationships with these kids, and they get to call on me. And a lot of these kids aren't afraid to run by, give me a high five, or ask me a question. And so I love it. I'm able to take what I do for fun and to be able to teach it.
That's good. I've had this conversation with my own kids. I've got two kids that are in school. One that's graduated now, and one of the things they didn't have in the 80s, it was basically it was a one size fits all education program. You had your whatever they refer to it basically as the core 40. Here's your classes that you need to go to college, and that was the end of the discussion. We did have vocational classes, and
Yep.
most schools around the country have pretty much done away with their vocational and trades programs. I'm glad to see that schools are starting to come back with those, and I'm also glad to see that schools are now recognizing that not all kids learn exactly the same. I was a hands-on kid, reading a book, sitting there listening to this stuff that meant nothing to me, just bored me, and that compounded itself. And it wasn't until I got into the military and went to electronics school that I found something that truly interests me. And I've been able to do really well with that over the last 30 years. And so I like to see that um, you're there in front of students and giving them an opportunity to do things and dive into that creative side of themselves. And it can be coupled with education or like traditional educational stuff.
Yep.
um you know we need engineers, right? In engineering schools, great engineering schools require a balance of academics and that desire to dive in and explore those things and be willing, or I guess able to do that. So it's good that you've got that. How long have you been doing that at your school district?
This is my 8th year of being a teacher. I started out
Okay.
as an 8th grade teacher, and then a situation happened where I was able to go to the high school, and now starting next year, I'll teach 9 through 12, and I teach all 3 courses that we offer. So I'm a what they call a singleton, all by myself.
So, does your school have a ham radio club?
Yeah, I saw. Oh, I think it was Whiskey Victor 3 Lima asked that. Not yet.
Not yet.
Do
Not
you plan
yet.
on participating in that?
I do
Leading
want to.
it?
I do want to start one. There is a spare ICOM 7300 sitting in my room over here that I want to put in a go case and be able to drag out there. And I know that I'll have kids that'll be interested in that. We have a lot going on. I have a robot club. I do Skills USA for my area, and Skills USA is basically like the industry side of all of those vocational classes that we have. And so my kids are preparing for stuff like that. They're learning CNC machines, CNC lathe, CNC routers, CNC mills, and that kind of stuff. 3D printing, whatever they want to dip their toes into.
Cool. Very cool.
Yep. And it's wild, I have 1,000 thoughts that ran through my head before we got started. And now it's like a river came through and just obliterated everything.
Well,
Well,
that's
so
not good.
so tell us what your latest project is that you're working on that you're getting ready to share with the public. Give us a sneak peek.
Okay, well, that's a toughie because I look around the house and my wife did clean the kitchen, so I'm missing quite a few things that are sitting out. But I've got the Arduino antenna switch. I'm still kind of perfecting that. I'm finding that I don't know if it's the computer, it's RF getting into something, but the RF is causing it to switch the antennas randomly, and it's causing
Oh,
the USB to go offline. And I have ferrite on everything, so I've been
oh,
working on that.
oh!
Uh,
I've got the answer for that. That's an ADUM 4160 USB isolator. When ferrites don't work and you have a USB port involved, you get an ADUM 4160. These are, I don't know why it does that. These are cheapest chips on AliExpress.
all right, I've got it pulled up in another window for later
All right,
perusing.
all
That's
right.
one thing, and I just finished up. Uh, if anybody wants to see a moment of exasperation, last Friday, Eddie KO4 NLL, my bestie, and we did a live stream. I spent a month in Fusion by Autodesk because I have a teacher's account. Another benefit of being a teacher is having a full-fledged Fusion account. In Fusion, I modeled a full Apache case from Harbor Freight with a FT891, an auto tuner.
I saw that.
Oh, you
An
saw
amazing, was an amazing model that is.
the model was amazing. It wasn't until we tried to close the box at the end of the stream that it was an epic fail. One of the somebody KY4TRK commented says swing and a miss, and some people would probably be like, that jerk. But I was like, that is spot on what just happened. I didn't take into account, I took into account the bottom of the box, didn't think for a second about the freaking lid. But I stayed up all night Friday night. I think it went to bed about 2 o'clock. I redesigned the head mount for the radio so I could swivel. I realized after I took it off and took it apart that the head would sit perfectly if you just set it straight up. The lid would close. So I said,
And
okay.
that was the 891 head, right?
The FT891 head. Yep. So I put it, I just took what I had, redesigned it. This is me typing, hitting all the shortcut keys in Fusion, and made it
Do
where it
you
would
need some
tilt
sound
back.
effects?
I did. They were there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I tilted it back 45 degrees in Fusion just to see, is this going to work? And put 2 screws with 2 nuts squeezed into the plastic after it was printed, tightened them real good, and now it swivels back so you can see it while you're sitting there, but then goes right back and the lid closes. And so that is another thing that I think I've got a video out on that one. It's called Swing and a Miss.
Could I suggest maybe a little bit of graphite on your hinge so it doesn't squeak as much?
That's the sound effects, they always
Oh,
add that
okay.
after post production. So
Post-production sound effects. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Those video editors.
I also I started this project on YouTube, but kind of a primer on how to get into Arduino. And I talked about this over the summer. I think it was. I did a live stream, and it was raising money for the Teachers Institute, where I introduced the Arduino and how you could go to tinkercad.com. That's tinker, like, oh, I love the tinker. And graphite on the hinge. That's right. And going to tinkercad.com, you can program an Arduino without actually buying one. And team, you guys are close. Host
Really?
there. Now we
That
got
was
it.
me. That was
There we
me.
go.
There we go.
So you can go into Tinkercad. You can play with electronics, and you can program actual Arduinos, and it does a really good job of simulating all of that.
I did not know that.
And it's like man, back when I started doing electronics back in the electronics school that I was at a Moultrie Technical College, was if you wanted SPICE software, it was expensive. And now it's offered for free on the web. You just have to give them a little bit of information, like your email address. And so there's actually quite a few people that are freaking amazing with what they can do in Tinkercad. Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-Ray does stuff in Tinkercad that I can't even wrap my head around sometimes. But I started that primer on YouTube, and I'm working my way towards all the little things to actually create something that is the culmination of all those little things. And sitting on my desk at work is the Arduino Nano that is hooked to a buzzer, a piezo buzzer that has all the wee squeak stuff built in, so you don't actually have to modulate or use pulse width modulation to make the sound. It just apply 5 volts, bam, you got a noise. And it's a Morse code tutor that uses the analog to digital converter. You can turn the knob to speed it up or slow it down. So that is the final product of the videos that I've been working on. But man, it takes so long to edit videos. And that's why I like Thomas K4 SWL, man, because he just throws his stuff out there and people love it, but they don't love it when I do it.
I know the feeling.
It's
You want-
I gotta say it's
Do you really want to see me sitting there for 10 minutes calling CQ parks on the air? Do you really want to see me doing that? Come on.
Yeah, but see, he has the ability to use his voice though, and he's got stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing something else, I can't talk and do that at the same time. I don't work like
Yeah,
that.
he's able to talk you through what he's doing, his
and,
antenna, his setup. I just want to make a contact. That's all I'm trying to
and,
do.
and I gotta say it, James has a very polished NPR voice. I'm sorry, Thomas, not James. Thomas.
I was
Yes.
about
Thomas
to say,
has a very
whoa,
polished.
segue.
Yeah,
He has
Thomas
a
has a
good
very
radio
polished.
voice.
No, not just a radio voice, an NPR radio voice. It's a
And NPR.
Yes.
that's a special skill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, I bet people would watch you call CQ for 10 minutes if there were some bilabial fricatives thrown in every once in a while. Just saying.
You know,
You can count on
I
Jeff.
do
for that.
edit a lot of stuff from my videos. There's a lot of things that I cannot repeat. It might hurt your feelings, someone's feelings. Uh, the vulgarity sometimes. Yeah, you don't want to see my full
Shut the front door.
uncensored
Vulgarities.
video.
That's
Son of
right.
a shame.
Dude, he shipped his pants. That's what he
If
did.
if I'm live, I try to keep it clean, and I try to keep it
Yeah.
clean in real life too. But occasionally something else happens. Eddie is the one that I always have to edit out of my videos. Sometimes he lets something drop, and I go, Eddie, I'm recording right now, and I don't want to edit it. So we have a good laugh about it.
Yeah, I'm used to being like non-vulgar at work, and I try to do it more often. But you know what? When that wind just blows your chair over and you can't keep it stop doing it, you're like, "Mm." This was Sunday, so it's fresh in my mind. But yeah, um, Thomas does have makes it more interesting to for when he does it. He's more of a talker, also. I would say. Um, I'm more of a I just want to get this done. This is what I'm working on right. This is what I'm concentrating on right now. Yes, the camera's rolling, but do you want me to make contacts or you want me to talk to the camera kind of thing? It's like,
And sometimes we feel silly as YouTubers. We're sitting here. I'm talking to a camera, and it sometimes I do feel silly about it. Silly, maybe self aware,
yeah,
embarrassed. Like
yeah.
at
It's
Hamcation,
not
I'm
the
walking.
setup.
Hey,
Go
I'm
ahead.
here at the Hamcation, and
Yeah.
you're carrying the selfie stick, and you look stupid. It's all for content.
Well, you think in your head that you look stupid, but you look at like, okay, there's Frank, there's Mike, there's whoever and whoever. They're all doing it, but in your head, you're like, I look freaking stupid.
Yep, and it doesn't even
I
matter what people think, but
yeah.
that's my head. Like I know I'm a strange one. I have quirks, and people are like, that guy is strange, and it doesn't matter what they think. What matters is what I think. But then here you are with that selfie stick doing your thing, and you're like, God, I feel
It's funny. I have not been able to bring myself. I'll interview people at the Ham Fest, but I cannot bring myself to just walk around with a selfie stick and do that. And you mentioned Frank. I think Frank is probably uh the most obnoxious is not the right word. Boisterous, boisterous of the of the ham tubers with his selfie stick just going around and filming. But that's part of his persona, right? Which
oh
is kind
yeah.
of odd because if anybody spends any time with Frank um, outside of off camera, he's very quiet, and so and
Eddie, what's up,
very
buddy?
reserved.
Saw KO4 NLL smoking POTA there in the chat. Good to see him here tonight. Yeah, and
Smoking Poda, is that a
he can make some excellent brisket.
brisket? Okay, I didn't know if Poda was like the new term
A
for
new a new strain.
Never
some grown in the
never.
woods kind of thing.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
Oh boy.
So crap, there it went. All right, carry on,
Oh,
soldier.
so I take it you were in the army.
I did 4 years. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Two cool stories about me. One, going in the military, I wanted to do electronics. You know what? They don't let color people do electronics. Colorblind people. Did I say colorblind people? I hope I did. I am fully colorblind and didn't know it till I went into the military.
Oh, the little dots on the numbers on the in the dot field.
Uh, don't tell me there's numbers there. That is a conspiracy. There are no numbers
Yeah.
there. So I wound up having to do finance. That's not the fun part. The colorblind part is a cool thing to know because I'll do these hobbies. I have to ask other people, hey, what color is this? Especially Cat 5 cable. Good God Almighty.
Hmm.
Why can't they make the colors discernible or put shapes on them or something? Like ski slopes. You got a black diamond. It's the shape of a diamond. I got it. Oh goodness, the dogs are getting started now. But my date my date of entry was in the delayed entry program in my senior year back in 2000. I went to the MEPS in Jacksonville and went ahead and did all the pre-processing stuff for the delayed entry program. So it'd be an easy road out once I got out of high school. And when I left MEPS in 2000, my date set to go to basic training was September 11th, 2001.
Mhm.
And I was sitting in the military entrance processing station in Jacksonville, Florida on September 11th, 2001. Did not believe what I saw happening on the TV. We thought it was a movie. It was not.
Mm.
Oh, right.
Yes. So hey, I'm videoing, so careful. I have been warding off kids in undies now for about a half hour.
Hey, it wouldn't be the kid's tale if a kid didn't walk through the background in his underwear.
Yep. So yes, I was known as MacGyver in the military because I could do some pretty fun stuff with paper clips and staples. And see the ghost open in the fridge right there.
Yeah.
You did good. So we before stream, I think this maybe is a good time while y'all are just staring at me running my mouth. Is I think I started as a maker when I was born at a young age. We didn't always have things to do, so you'd go outside and you'd go find some bushes or some trees and sticks or vines, and you'd go make you a fort. You go find
Yeah.
stuff on the railroad tracks and start gathering some sticks and some of the old spikes, and make stuff like
Spikes
that.
in the plates.
Yeah, plates were a
Yep.
little more rare to find, but definitely spikes. Hang on, I'm trying to get my kid his medicine. Okay, he's got it. Good deal. Um, and being able to throw something together and then sit out there for hours and hours and make believe about what this could be. And climbing trees. My friend and I in Jacksonville, Eliar is his name, and he and I would go climb trees. Well, one day we had a big storm come through in Jacksonville, and there was a tree that we just couldn't get to the first set of limbs. Well, a tree behind it had fallen, and the tree limbs got all tangled up from the fallen tree and the tree that we really wanted to climb. You can't have both, bud. Oh, sorry. Okay. And so we took those tree limbs. They were nice, long, rubbery tree limbs because it was a good green tree. We took and weaved those together and made a ladder out of those tree limbs so that we could climb up into the unclimbable tree and actually go to the top and look out over the neighborhood. And we're talking 70, 80-foot tall oak trees.
Oh
And
wow.
and so, you have to make do with what you've got. I heard stories of my dad, and maybe I got this from him, but they go out and just play with corn cobs. They'd make darts out of corn cobs. Take a corn cob, jam a nail into it, uh, go find you something fluffy to put it on the back, and they'd play lawn darts with a corn cob.
Yeah.
And so
Very reminiscent
amateur
of my childhood.
amateur radio has basically been the uh, catalyst and avenue for more experimentation, for more exploring. What happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? Learning by cause and effect. And so you've got antennas, which I've been fussing with mine here at the house. The reason I had to build the antenna switcher box is because the experimental random wire in the backyard, sometimes it'll tune and sometimes it won't. And I've everything short of going out there with the analyzer, but I've just been using measurements instead of using the antenna analyzer because I felt like that'd be more fun. So I had to make the antenna switcher that I could switch to a decent antenna that does work, the vertical,
Mm.
the Hustler 5B TV that's in the backyard. So I could switch to that other antenna while I'm at work so that at lunch I can chase people doing POTA using my remote because I can't tune that dang antenna remotely, the random wire, because it has a remote tuner that acts kind of funny. So,
Mm.
yep, corn darts. And so one thing leads to another. And now I'm just like, what's next? What can I do
Yep.
next? That's a great title for this. What am I going to do next? I went through the phase of making cables for different radios to work with the digirig. And I'm trying to think of some other ones. I've had quite a few series of let's build this for that, and then let's make it for every rig that we own, kind of thing.
Mhm.
I'm going to leave it at that. What else you got for me?
Well, I think you know, one thing that y- I I see is that you know, obviously you're incorporating more stuff into this than just radio. They're all kind of ham adjacent in their way because they're all things that you can use around in and around ham radio.
Right.
Um, yeah, you mentioned the Arduino. Have you looked at and this is something a path I've been starting down, and I want to explore this a little bit more is actually using AI to help you make some electronics projects.
Actually have delved into AI. As a teacher, sometimes you don't want to have to make a lesson plan. AI
Mhm.
writes great lesson plans if you just tell it what you want in it, and it'll outline it. It do amazing things. Um, Sometimes I might not want to write an email to somebody for something, who knows what. So I'll tell Chat GPT, hey, I need an email written for this right here, and I want it to say this and sound like a 3-year-old wrote it. Go. And I have also used it to write basic stuff in Python because I don't know Python, but I'm doing a class at the school with another teacher. We're doing it's called Google Code. I think that's what it's called. And so we're learning Python this go around. Well, I'm not well versed in Python. I'm a C++ kind of guy.
Okay.
And so PHP is like the not electronics kind of programming thing that I really like to mess with. Just because it fits so nicely on a Raspberry Pi, you can make a server and do you can do a whole LAMP server, Linux, Apache, and whatever the M in PHP.
Hmm.
So that's just I've delved into so much. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, and being able to go to Chat GPT, and there's a couple others that they recommend to use, but I just happen to use that one the most, just because it's got a shortcut on my computer. And I'll go in there and say, I need an algorithm for solving this if I don't know what algorithm I need, or if I'm tired of searching Google. Adafruit is one of those places where I do quite a bit of browsing and looking at tutorials on Adafruit. And yeah, I believe there are AI aids for all dev platforms, absolutely. And you know how it pulls information, they really know MySQL. That was what I was missing. Yes. So I've had to go out there and ask, hey, can you write me a PHP script for finding the average of some inputs or something like that, just to get a start. And then I'll live going, all right, what's the syntax for how to parse strings together, or to uh, take information, regular expressions. I freaking hate them. And so especially in bash scripts, I will use some AI for that too. Did I answer the question?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Okay, good.
absolutely.
Because I was
I'm
like,
reading this. Jody dropped a book. Jody dropped a book in here, and I was just reading to it real quick. And of course, I'm not a quick reader, so it took me a little bit there, and I froze up. But yeah, he's talking about how AI was used in the
I think I heard that same story, and I was like,
yeah.
oh boy, here we go. He's right. The game begins.
You know, I see it. I've done some reviews for software in our work where you know they're using AI to detect anomalies in you know images studies, you know, medical studies, things like that. And it's phenomenal because the stuff that they can identify that you can't even see, a radiologist cannot see with their eye, is phenomenal. And I see great uses for that. I hope we don't become so used to AI that we forget how to do things. I hope that doesn't become the norm, and maybe that's I don't maybe that will be the norm. I'm not
Well,
sure.
I teach a way, and I feel like in today's technology is not so much our computer or cell phone. Technology is the information, and I think if you know how to find the information and then be able to use it, I don't think we'll be in big trouble. But if we get to the point where AI is doing all the heavy lifting and you don't have a clue about what's going on at all, at least engineers are trying to figure out why did that 5G work better than what us humans designed. At least
Mhm.
they're trying to learn from AI. So I think learning from AI is a great way, because I mean the best way to learn is to take something apart. And I'm trying to talk loud because the dog's going to town back there.
It's okay. Don't
You're
worry about
fine.
the dog.
You're fine. There's good signal to noise ratio.
That's right.
This microphone must have some good rear rejection then.
Yes, it does.
We'll filter down. We'll filter down.
Yep. So AI, even for writing a paper, and I've told the kids, if you're going to use AI to write a paper, take the high points from it and put it in your own words, please. Don't put your words into AI so that at least what comes out is you, and then take that as just a starting point. Pick it apart. Why is this paragraph written like this? And then work your way towards creating your own craft.
Well, that's good, and I think one of the things that I'm personally concerned about with the use of AI, and I think we're starting to see it. And once I go back to one of the reasons why I really wanted to start doing this is, we can turn over the technology to AI. We're already doing that. Like, we don't fix anything anymore. We throw it away. We go buy something new. Um, some of it is manufacturer driven, where it's cheaper to do surface mount components than it is through holes. So we lose the opportunity. But one of the things I think we really lose out on is we're starting to lose the ability to actually define the problem. What is it that is, the, what is the problem? I run into this all the time at work. People call me up and it's not working. Well, what's not working? And I have to go through like 10 or 15 steps to get them narrowed down to what exactly the problem is. And so I think as a society, we're losing that. We're losing that ability to define the problem. The Navy, when I was in tech school, they taught us I think 6 basic steps of troubleshooting. And that wasn't a new theory. It wasn't something for the Navy, but it was how we would analyze an issue, look at it, find the beginning, find the end, find the middle, and work our way down to analyzing it and finding out what could be bad, create our hypothesis, and then go from there. Reboot is the answer. You're absolutely right, John.
Troubleshooting
Reboot.
always begins at the wall. Is it plugged in?
It, was it hello IT? Have you tried restarting it? Or
Is your
and
computer
actually
turned
here,
on?
Have you turned it off and back on again?
yeah, hold on. I
Hey, yeah,
gotta.
he's wearing the shirt. Have you tried a factory
I'm wearing
reset?
the shirt, mate, and this shirt was made famous now on the Ham Radio Crash Course after chat with Josh. It's like, Josh, have you tried a factory reset yet?
But yeah, you go from defining the problem is the first step in engineering a solution, or just design. Period. Like, if I'm doing something on my channel, it's probably because I said I kind of want to try and see what would happen if, and
Mhm.
or it comes from, like, making a go box. Everybody makes go boxes of some sort. If you haven't made a go box or even a ham, shoving a bunch of electronics into a steel canister. But then, Friday night, after I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this thing's not working. Uh, I have a problem. I need to solve it. Dang, box lid won't close. So then I sit there and I go, okay, I know what the problem is. I don't just have danger. I have a clear and present danger.
Mm. Sounds like Tom Clancy book there in your Apache case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
Somebody trying to play radio during the stream.
Yeah.
Hi,
Um,
Rolly. I'm Robbie, W1RCP. It's good to see you, buddy.
yeah.
So what's coming up?
Sorry.
What's coming up next for you, Robbie, on your channel, or what's coming along your down the path?
Well, I think I'm going to revisit a few things. I started this project, I think it's been about a year and a half now, but it's base loaded vertical antennas, shortened base loaded vertical antennas. Sort of the AX1, but comes out of your junk bin with the
Right.
3D printer. And I love 3D printing, and I got me a new 3D printer, and it has a where I can print with 4 different colors, or I can put support material in it that dissolves in water. So everything here lately has been like a lot of 3D printed stuff, and I got distracted by the chat. I need to quit looking at it. Uh, I think I want to revisit now that I've got this new printer that actually prints holes to tolerance. The old one did not, and if you go look at some of the comments on the Morse code key of mine that I made on printables, there was a review that said, "Hey, your holes are quite loose." And at the time, I said,
That sounds
"Shoot."
like a problem around the military base there, buddy.
Yes, absolutely. So
Doggone it.
loose lip sink ships, and I was like, shoot. Well, they're I'm having to ream these holes out to get the 3 millimeter screws to go through them, and you're saying they're loose. Like, what the heck? Well, I got this new bamboo printer, and I printed that key the other day because Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie asked me to make him an orange one, and I printed it, and I went, holy crap, he's right. Almost the whole screw falls through the hole. And so I
Hmm.
want to revisit that base loaded vertical design again, and make one for every band 30 meters and up. 40 meters, I didn't design the body big enough. It just takes a freaking crap load of loading coil for 40 meters for such a
You got
short
that with
antenna.
you've got that with your KX too, right? So what you're
I do
using.
use it with a KX2, but you could use it with any low power radio. I do
Okay.
have the AX1, but good God Almighty, the AX2, the new one, to make one for each band is going to cost you. And I was like,
Yeah.
it don't take all that, but you have to know a little bit of antenna theory to be able to do it. And I want to go back and re-explain it again in a new video, because there are people that are interested in that kind of stuff. I've gotten emails of people trying
Yep.
it out.
Well, that
That's
sounds like
that's one
sounds
thing.
like a
That's
fun
one
thing.
thing
Yeah.
that's coming up.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
then I like to do parks on the air. That's one of my favorite things in ham radio is just parks on the air. I think between that and my friend Eddie KO4NLL getting his ticket several years, about 3 years ago, that kind of reinvigorated me in amateur radio. It reinvigorated my maker mentality. I'd taken a back seat,
Mhm.
and wasn't doing anything there for a while, and all my stuff was just put in storage, and I didn't think about it. I'd go to work, I'd come home, go to work. Now I got something to live for. I got things to do. My mind is got the gears going again. I can let them flow freely, and I'm always thinking of something, you know. So I can say that there are things on the horizon, but then again, you never know what might pop up. uh it's a potpourri over there on the W1RCP.
There you go. Well, folks, if you haven't done it already, make sure you go and subscribe to Robbie's YouTube channel. He's always got some fun things going on, and always guarantee that if he's doing it in a video and he goobers something up, he'll let you know about it. So always a good thing. Up
And
in
take
the
it, and
top.
I'll take it with a grain of salt. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Up in the Jeff, you want to do your best Vanna White there on the QR code up in the corner for our. We do have a Discord now, Discord community that we are growing. So if you are on Discord and interested, there's a QR code up there. Real quick, I guess we can go around the horn. Live Nation, Ham Nation is live tonight here in a few minutes. So we will be shutting the stream down shortly for that. But real quick, Jeff, you want to throw anything out? Anything upcoming?
Nothing too exciting coming up.
Do you have a
Just
video tomorrow
some
night?
videos. No, not tomorrow night. I might have one next week. We'll see. I am going on a trip sometime soon, and we'll be doing a few park activations out of state. So we'll see what happens with that. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Robbie, how about you? Anything coming up this next week on your channel?
I think I'm still visiting videos from about a month ago. I'm working on a video. I did the best that I could at Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta. They don't really like you to video out there without a permit. Heck, they barely let you play radio out there. But I did go out there about a month ago in February and tried to video some of the area to kind of give you a look of what it looks like there in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, at that Parks on the Air entity. So I am working on that one. And of course, again, editing videos takes me forever.
Understandable. Vince, how about you?
Ham Radio Workbenches is on the air this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday from 1800 to 2200 Zulu. Please go visit us at our website, herwabota.com. You will find me there. And if I can get my technology working, I will be live streaming from the back country while I do Her Wabota. So see what happens. And Tim, what about you, man?
Well, I'm working on some videos. The sun has finally decided to shine on us here in central Indiana, and it's starting to warm up. So antenna projects, getting the radio and everything moved out of the house and out here to the ham. Well, my wife calls it a ham sandwich, but the ham shed. Those are the big things. Been doing a regular live stream on Saturdays and Sundays from the park, getting up, grabbing my coffee, and just going to the park and doing some POTA and live streaming. So got that coming up. Let's see here, got a different computers. So make sure whether it's control or command. But I am going to put the link in here for Ham Nation for you guys to jump on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to these guys' YouTube channels. Tomorrow night is more video premieres for the YouTube premiere group. And also Coffee and Ham Radios is tomorrow night too at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, which is also now midnight Zulu. So awesome. So with that, I guess we will wish you guys 73 and take care.
Yep. And thank you for inviting me to the stream. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Robbie.